All right, it is 6 o'clock. Let's get it. Get started. Roll call. All 4 board members are here. Welcome, Josh. Your first board meeting. Glad to have you. Bobby and Scarlett are here. So. Will one of you guys make a motion to approve the last meeting minutes? Carl first. I'm reading.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Board. All right. Bobby, take it off with your stuff.
So I think these are just parks project items for this year, things that we've already talked about. So I basically went through and I kind of X'd ones that don't really pertain to us anymore at this point. I've got things highlighted green that are happening, already have happened, that sort of thing. And then the ones in yellow, I really wanted you guys to help me prioritize, to put it that way, from the standpoint of you kind of see the number there, what each one costs. I kind of prioritizing of where we should be, because obviously as we're getting through this, we have less funds than we did last year, obviously because we had the extra $300,000 from the last year. So I'd like to just prioritize those. So if we come up to a point we can't do certain things.
Put them on the list for next year.
Yeah.
So did you order the dugout benches already?
Well, they're supposed to be delivered today, and they called me saying their truck got stuck, and so they'll be here Thursday. So yeah, so those have been ordered, because I believe they're probably on their planes today.
Is that just for the quad, or is it all?
Well, we already did the 3 dirt fields last year, and so these are all the benches for the quad.
Okay.
So they're aluminum benches with the back. We did have to get them quite a bit longer than the ones we did on the dirt fields, so that's why they cost more. But.
So just like the ones that we did over on FDR.
Yep. They're just a lot longer.
So we had to get 8.
Correct.
Okay. And what was the?
You'll see that it's not exactly 12,000. That was on my estimate. You'll see it on your claims though. I can't remember exactly. I want to say with our discount it ended up being under 10.
86.
DSN.
We had about 4,055.99.92. Right?
So it made 83. So 55.99 plus 2,500.
96.99.
Yeah, there you go. So it came under just under 10 grand. So a couple grand less than what we had originally had quoted.
You want us to think about these, or we want to discuss these
You
now?
can think about it. We don't have to openly discuss it now. I wanted to give you that to, think about it, email me. If you want to mark them up and email me what your priority list is, and then I can recap it all and send it out, and then start knocking them down based on what we thought was the priorities. We can do any of these without. The only one that obviously stands out to me is the cameras. That's a pretty big chunk of our grounds improvement budget if we were to do that.
So how much money do we have the money to do this other than the cameras? Do we have the money to spend to be able to do that?
We're in February.
Yeah, we are, but obviously.
Right, we know what's in the budget, so do we have the money to spend to do these items except that cameras?
Can you send out?
Yes.
Okay.
But I wanted to say that with a little bit of caution, because we also can blow through that budget pretty quickly if we try to do everything without knowing what expenses we're going to incur later throughout the year.
Agreed. Can you send out, maybe this will help Josh catch up and all of us a reminder, when you send these out, send the 2025 budget what it actually ended up at, and then send the 2026 budget so that we can kind of
I can do that.
just kind of have a relative idea of what dollar amounts are in those items that maybe we could put in. That would help.
Yeah, because the last meeting, when we had the 2026 budget, of course, we didn't have the ending budget, but we didn't see that. So I'll shoot those in an email. I'll just do that tomorrow.
Yeah, just email the 2025, 2026 budget, and then this, and then we'll be able to.
Okay.
One thing I would like on a dream list, I think, is new bleachers and that's on a kind of they're expensive, I know that, so that could be on like
So each one of those will be about $18,000.
that's why I said.
How many cents total?
There would be, it would be 8, so 2%.
That's like a dream list, but we're eventually gonna have to replace those.
I'm gonna put that on here. Well, yeah, so there are a handful that they need to be replaced now.
Yes.
Can we, is there any way that we can sandblast any of those bleachers and save any of those bleachers?
Yeah, so
sandblasting one?
Yeah, but they're not. My fear is if somebody falls off one of them, or we in for a lawsuit.
So a couple of them need replaced
Client.
ASAP, and then most of them we can clean them up and make them look pretty much brand new. Most of them we can.
Definitely put a priority on those then, that need replaced. Just from the exposure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'd be probably a higher priority than a lot of these other things.
They're just, from what the cost standpoint, yes. But yeah, they're about, to do them the same size as they are and the aluminum ones that you can move around. Because the ones right now, we really don't have equipment to move them. Right. The tractor just kind of drives them. And
If we
drag across the concrete.
And if we order new ones that are 18,000 a piece, we won't be dragging them.
Well, they'll be a lot lighter because they'll be aluminum.
Right.
So let me ask you this, are we having to pay any of the TIF money back? Are you sure?
There's a lot of credit that would not be expected to be paid back. We can choose to pay it back.
No.
I was just asking that question, just want to make sure.
Move on to the maintenance hierarchy.
He started next week, so I want to share with you. I've actually talked to him about, attending the meeting a couple times, but he wasn't able to. But he is starting next week. I think originally I told you it'd be the third week of February, but he's starting a little bit early. So my goal with that is, obviously from a structure standpoint, from the maintenance department, where there really wasn't any structure, is there's a lead with kind of my direction. So basically what I'll have, it'll be similar to what I started with last year. I've got kind of a master list of, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly items and he'll basically just manage that as far as organizing, checking to make sure that it's done. So hopefully things don't creep up on us and not get done like it happened a few times to me last year. Things that I thought were getting done and they just hadn't been done. Any questions on that? It's the first time.
He doesn't do this.
Junior Wilshire. And then we did elevate, I forgot, so we did elevate Darby also. So Darby's taken over quite a bit more responsibility. And I know we talked about this the last time, but through the process, he kind of just mentioned that he wanted to finish school to save our time. So that's where we're at with that process.
So was we able to up his?
We did, yes. So we got a raise, we've taken on more responsibility.
We cut Jay and Brad's hours some.
Yeah. Yep. So they'll go back to what they originally agreed upon, rather than last year where they were working pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And Jay worked a lot of the early tournament weekends. So this will be much more manageable with that as well.
So we'll be using Darby and Junior more on weekends versus
And
part-time and Alex. Okay.
yeah, our board president Alex is going to run the tournament weekends.
You'd probably be the president.
He told me he would do it, so he's on the list.
Great power comes great responsibility.
Yep, every Saturday, 7 to 7.
Yeah, wrong. Alright, volunteer coach background checks.
So I put that on there, but right now there's only one to share with you, so we can either share all of them in the March meeting, or we can talk about the one that I know you guys have already.
We've voiced opinions.
Correct.
Yeah.
But based on that, as long as you guys are good with what we decided last year with that background check policy, when all those come in, any ones with questionable things, you guys will vote on.
Okay.
So
I think Josh did make a good point in his email about the social media policy. I don't know if we can.
I think
add clause on
just a general code of conduct. I think you could have someone that passes a background check, but their behavior is definitely not something that we want around our children. So I think maybe put something in that, have maybe Larry put something in that policy that is, we reserve the right to deny or accept any volunteers based on other conduct. You know, something along those lines. He would know the verbiage to put in there, but I think outside of, because you get, some people, they're never broken a law, they've never done anything wrong, but they're just not good stewards for our community, you know, from a behavior standpoint, especially in social media these days. Right? So that's something I think we have to take into account.
That's not something we're voting on tonight, correct?
Larry will have.
yeah, we're gonna work on that policy a little bit more.
So that policy isn't set, right? currently?
It's kind of what we're using to start this year, but obviously we have time to
But
amend.
no, we haven't like adopted it, or we never adopted it.
I
Right?
thought we did, that's what
You
Bobby
did.
reminded
Okay,
us.
So back when
That's fine.
when the first situation happened back last it was either in April, I think it happened in April, so it might have been the May meeting. That was the policy that was sent out, and you guys agreed.
Yeah, that's fine, we haven't been adopted, we need to probably adopt it, that way we can apply it.
We'll just make a plus to it and redo it as before we review all the background checks in the March meeting. We'll just have you guys vote on it then. Hopefully have that clause. We're moving on. Bailey left a paper for just, I know she updated you on the program events already, but she wanted to share basically where it's at now and then the registrations that are coming up. So obviously I won't read every bullet point, but if you guys can skim that, I will say that we're kind of already well on the way with the youth golf clubs that we're working on. So we have a couple different avenues to go about that. Instead of having to order new youth sets, had some donations. The golf course has some, and the golf course has a whole bunch of extra clubs that I talked to Joe the day before yesterday, and we talked about cutting them down and repairing them as youth sizes. I mentioned that I had a friend that did that for my daughter, and he said he's comfortable gripping clubs, you just have to use a little extra tape when you cut an adult size down. So I don't know if you guys have opinions or ideas on that, because obviously golf clubs are expensive, but we don't, and so we want to get rid of the reasons kids wouldn't participate. So if we're able to get 6 or 8, 10 sets, whatever we come up with of 5 clubs, then we'll be well on our way. I think 5 clubs like a driver, a long iron, short iron, wedge, and putter.
Yeah, standard youth set.
With the mini bags where they just velcros around and then carry it around. It's got little pockets for throwing balls and tees and stuff.
If you put, we just bought US Kids Golf Club for kids for Christmas. I would be surprised if you didn't put like a package of that together and go around to local businesses that you wouldn't get 6 people to donate. I'd say they're $300 probably for, I bet you could go around here and there would be 6 or 8 businesses that may donate.
Patty, the owner of the park theater, said that she would be willing to work with the park board, or with the park directors and with Joe on doing some type of fundraiser at the theater
Okay.
to help generate funds for that. So I can get you guys in contact with her on, I'm trying to come up with something on that too.
But if you put a little, between you and Joe, I mean, if you just print it out and visit it, you could probably pick businesses that you know or have people that are golf-oriented people. I would be very surprised if you didn't have 6, 8, 10 of them that are sponsored by.
We are hitting these
Sponsorships.
sponsorships right now for where we're at with our, we restructured that, so, it could be a good time, it could also be.
A bad time for that.
But if somebody that maybe doesn't want to do a larger sponsorship, you can say, hey, if you don't want to do this, we do have this option. That's, you know, a $300 set of junior clubs, sales pitch.
Looks like her Eat Well, Move Well's full. That's a good.
Yeah, I think she had 20, right? And then, so that's where she's at tonight at the library. That's full, obviously, we're just starting the soccer, starting to go.
Okay.
It's getting down here. I was actually still looking for volunteers for the run and the Easter egg hunt. I know you guys helped out a lot at the Easter egg hunt. I know that. That's also, it's not the same weekend. I should be able to be there this weekend, or this year. Last year I was at that Pendleton tournament. She's called Carl out. You did such a good job getting people to get bikes.
We had a ton of bikes.
I was thinking it was a different car, but I guess.
So I think what we ended up with 50,
There was
52
tons.
tons, 53.
We moved them all that morning,
Yeah.
there's a ton,
Yeah.
I mean, that whole triple's full, I mean,
Yeah. So that was
and some scooters too.
I'd say if we set a goal,
Yeah.
set a goal to beat our number every year, it'd be pretty cool.
So is there a flyer then for that?
Yeah, there is. She I don't know that she's finished with it yet,
Right.
but I know, I mean, she's probably gonna use a similar flyer as last year to update all the details on
Do we know the date of that?
it. Yes, and I don't have our event calendar. You remember the date for the Easter egg hunt?
Yeah,
It's probably in the meet. Is it in the minutes?
March 28th.
5K is the 14th, and Easter egg hunt's the 20th.
Okay, moving on to Fulton, you anything else before we move on?
No, I was just gonna mention, where she's updated you on the sponsorships we've been able to get so far. So
Yeah.
there's been some of the full athletic sponsorships, and you'll see who's running BIC, Quality and big parts of photography. Obviously, we expect a lot more that gave a similar amount coming in, but we obviously are just getting started with making contact with everybody and going around. Obviously, that was a lot harder to do with the weather we've had last week to get around everybody. But I think that's it, so.
Old business, vendor items update.
The only thing I was gonna mention is that we're still trying to nail down the vendor menus. So, something that we've obviously already talked about, had a couple meetings over, so you can expect something to come across the email. I don't think we need to discuss that. I can share whatever details through email or after.
Any other old business from anybody else? Claims are approved, they're over there.
So I want to make a comment about claims. There were several more claims that I think they got paid that weren't on the ledger. I think Kay was out today, did not have a ledger ready. So I put this ledger together with all the ones I knew came from since the last meeting, but there were several that we had already turned in downtown that we did not keep copies of. Maybe going forward, we'll start keeping copies of everything in our office. That way we can just, if it ever happens again, we can keep our own ledger, but she typically does that for us, so yeah.
I will say one thing that would be nice is like, if monthly, when you send out the agenda, I don't know when you, if you send the claims and like a budget update, how often can you get an updated budget?
So anytime, and we keep a tally in our office, so it's real time, so we don't wait for them to, the only thing I'll say is, if we start making copies of all the claims, I can start doing this and update you guys and send you basically the ledger before there. But typically she has it ready for me the day of the meeting or the day before the meeting. So just to be clear, that'll be something that's a little bit different, but I can do it. It'd probably be better actually done.
It would give us time to flip through them if you had.
Right. And then if you have questions, if you know, anything like that.
If you did the claims and updated budget and anything else you guys can think of, the minutes, that way everything's read before we get here, maybe we can speed up the process here and get in there.
Yeah. I can do that. That should be.
I mean, you're gathering it all anyways.
We do, yeah. So even if I get it to you, I mean, what's a good, as long as I get it to you.
If you get to it Monday,
Okay, you have a big payment.
what we can skim through it in a day and a half or a day and be ready for the meeting.
You could even throw, like when we've got, I would say, with the program events, you know, updating numbers on the program events too, you could throw in there.
Yeah, add Bailey stuff to it, and then, like the packet that you print here,
Just send it to you.
just send it, and it's ready, and we'll come through, and you come with questions, and we'll move this meeting quicker.
That works. I'll start sending it all out to you before you.
Anything else?
Race trail.
You haven't heard from them, have you?
We also haven't, clearance with the farmer's market hasn't been by either, so I would expect, although we talked to him, he said maybe the May meeting, maybe we don't. But I know last year, I mean, this is pretty much, this was the first meeting I attended last year whenever I started, because my start date was like Thursday of last week. It'd been a year. It was this week is when Clarence stopped by, and it was a couple weeks later when the racetrack people stopped by. So this is probably about the time that they'll be reaching out to. So when I make contact with them, we'll talk about this. We talked about upgrades to catch you up a little bit. The racetrack out there, talk about kind of upgrading and make it a little bit nicer for them and look at it. We want to make sure it's something, it's stuff that they want. They want to see it happen. They're the ones hosting people. We really don't maintain it at all. You know, we mow around it and stuff like that, but they drag it. They do everything inside the door. They typically repair even the lighting that lights it up. So, and they host. I mean, they host
A lot.
yeah, there's quite a few people, but I think the biggest thing is dressing it up and making it more of a,
Anonymous.
yeah.
Anything else? Anything? So, make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? All right.